G'day guys, Marky and Trousy here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. I do hope you enjoyed today's bloody good stories, and with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and let's go, hey? Let's do it. Posted by user Remy2MR, titled, Am I the asshole here for telling my father that if he hadn't cheated, he would still be with my mother? Long story short, when I was 10, my parents got divorced due to my father cheating with some woman at his office. After the divorce, my father got married to that same woman, and they had my half-siblings. In the divorce, my mother gained primary custody of me, and my father would visit on the weekends and would sometimes pick me up. I won't lie, I never liked my stepmother, not one bit. She was the reason that my parents separated, and I also blame my father too. So anytime I would stay at my father's house, I would also get into a lot of fights with her, and even after my half-siblings came into the picture, this woman got more bitter towards me. To the real story, my mother started to date this guy named Chuck, and things were getting really serious between them. He would spend the nights over, and he's always nice, so I kinda liked him. 2 weeks ago, my father was dropping me back home, and he saw Chuck leaving the house, and he started throwing a whole set of questions. Who's that? Oh, that's my mum's new boyfriend. Oh, I didn't know she was dating. Oh, for real, he's nice, and I kind of approve of him, so... And many other questions. So after the question, he left, and I thought that it was over, but 4 days ago, I was over by my father's for dinner, and I was telling him about something about mum's work, and somehow the conversation changed to him asking about Chuck again, and I was giving him short answers. Like, he was getting angry because of my hesitant answers, and he yelled that I wasn't telling him everything, and how could my mother date? I was dumbfounded, and I yelled back, why was he so concerned about her personal life? It's not like they were together anymore. Then he said some nonsense about safety, and I may have been wrong about this. I said if he hadn't cheated on her, maybe her and him would still be together. We continued back and forth until I was told to leave, which I did. And since then, I haven't spoken to my father. I have gotten a few calls from my stepmother saying that I had no right to say those things to my father, and he was just looking out for my safety. I just wanted to know if I was an asshole for saying that. In the comments, Big Nathaniel69 says, not the asshole. Oh, I so hope your stepmom was there to hear how interested and concerned, read jealous, your dad was in your mum's new boyfriend. Maybe you should bring it up again in front of her. And the audacity of that man to be angry when he literally cheated on her? Sorry, but your dad's kind of a clown, but I think you already know that. Yup, it's just a matter of time before he cheats on the stepmom too. Bold to think that he isn't already. Not the asshole. My sister got divorced about 6 years ago. Her husband was cheating, married the other woman 2 months after the divorce, and they now have 2 kids. My sister got engaged on Valentine's Day. Her ex is freaking out. How dare she move on so fast? Dude, you were married with 2 more kids 2 months after the divorce was final, but 6 years is too fast? My ex was devastated, quote-unquote, when I had a second child to someone else when our son together was 9. Too bad he had already had 1 failed marriage by then, was engaged again, and had produced an unknown amount of spawn in that time. But somehow I was the bad guy. Never ceases to amaze me how quickly men move on. Also, they are very good at dating almost back to back. Not the asshole. Your dad shouldn't ask anything about your mum. It's not his business anymore. Try to be as civil as you can when you are with your dad, and when the law allows, you stay with your mum, because that'll be better for your mental health. I'll be the first to say that I don't think you're the asshole for telling your dad that if he hadn't cheated, he would still be with your mum. It just sounds like it makes sense, so that's why I'm saying that one. I understand the line of thinking, and I know why dickheads like him feel that way, but it's not justified at all. People move on, especially when you betray them like that. She's allowed to have relationships. Who does he think he is, coming down on OP and being such a prissy little prick about it? Never ceases to amaze me, that's for sure. And now, on to the updates. Hello everyone, I came back to give a little update. Well, after the incident with my father, I told my mother, and she was upset about the questioning and him putting me out after the argument, and if he had any problems with my safety, he should have come to her. And she kinda scolded me for yelling back at him. To the actual part of the update yesterday, my father came over at the behest of my mother because she wanted to talk. First, she sat me down with him and to let him and I know that it was safe for me to be around Chuck because she and Chuck work together, and then told my father that if he had any concerns, he should have brought it up to her rather than question me for answers, and that whoever she dates or have romantically involved with isn't any of his business. Because other than a co-parenting relationship, anything she does outside doesn't concern him or anyone else. I was made to apologize to my father for yelling at him. My father seems to be cool with everything that my mother was saying. My mother also told him to let his wife never call or text if it is not some emergency, and not to mess with their co-parenting relationship, which she has no part being in. I could see my father didn't like this, but his comments were quickly shut down. I saw a few comments I would like to address. I fully understand what some people were saying about him, generally worrying about me being safe, because I would too if a random adult man was spending the night in the same house with my 16-year-old son. Because I can say my father would die before any of that happens to me. Secondly, some were saying that he was jealous. Well, I can't say for sure if he was, but some of the questions he had asked me hinted at a jealousy vibe. And I'm fully aware when he saw my mother and Chuck, something clicked for him. For example, how often would he spend the night? Where would he sleep, or is he sleeping in your mother's bedroom? How often does he take your mother out? Does he help with anything in the house? Do they have sex when he's over? And more personal questions that I wouldn't want to repeat. I'm currently packing to spend a few days with him at my mother's behest, but thank you for your comments and thoughts. In the comments, Mental Woodpecker says, "It's just so weird and inappropriate to ask you about your mum having sex and the frequency. Like, seriously. I'm glad she had a mature conversation with him, but still, that's so invasive and wrong to drag the child into that kind of stuff, regardless of age. Sorry, but your mum is wrong here. Being your father doesn't mean that he's entitled to a relationship with you, especially with how he acted and treated you. He should be low contact for now until he can prove that it wasn't the new norm." I honestly don't know if I would still be talking to my dad if he pulled some shit like this. His mask slipped for a second in front of you. The questions he asked you show how controlling and manipulative he really is. He's acting like he owns her or something. "How could my mother date?" said the asshole who left that mother for his affair partner. That's such a huge thing for male cheaters though. They have affairs, leave for their side chick, and their exes do a huge chunk of the real parenting, leaving them with little time to date. The male cheaters then tell themselves that she's really not dating because she still loves him and is hung up on him because it's a big old boost to the ego. And nothing matters as much to any cheater as their own ego. Once the kid is self-sufficient enough for the ex-wife to get back into the dating game, it's time for the cheater to have a meltdown when he realizes that it was mostly logistics and not her quietly forever yearning for him. Holy shit, that dad is awful. He not only cheated on his wife, but married an affair partner that is still hostile to his kid, and then just let it happen. Is controlling of his ex-wife while highly doubting that he cares if his new wife was safe for his kid, since again, she is openly hostile to him, but also involves his child into the personal, romantic, and apparently sexual affairs of his mother? This guy is controlling trash, and I can't believe that there are two women who decided not only to marry him, but that he should father their kids. And I mean, he's a cheater. I have no doubt the lover role also got filled after his last marriage. Sometimes the existence of such men is stranger than fiction, but unfortunately it's very common. And that's why we come together and talk about these things, so that we don't go repeating the same mistakes that others do. I understand the point of that comment, saying that the father married someone that is openly hostile towards the son. And yeah, if I were the mother in this instance, I would be questioning that and asking, why is this partner allowed to just openly bully my son like that and be such an asshole towards them? But at least with situations like this, you can kind of see the mask slip, you can have the child on your side, and hopefully start getting away from that dickhead and his dickhead spouse. Doesn't really seem like there is any winning for the time being, though. It just sucks. It's just a crappy situation. Our next post is by user throwaway6675565 titled, My parents wouldn't give me a family ring so I could propose to my girlfriend because my sister isn't married yet. I just need to get this off my chest. My girlfriend's birthday is on Saturday, and I plan on proposing to her. Our anniversary is 6 months from Saturday, April 29th, and I think that would be a great day for a wedding. When my grandma died, she left all kinds of jewelry to my mum. She always said that if I wanted one of her rings to give to a woman in the future, she would let me pick. I know that my mum knows that she said this. I asked my mum for one of the rings, but my mum said, not yet. She and my dad said that my sister would be upset if I get engaged while she is still single and not married. It's not a secret that she's desperate to get married, but that's not my problem. My sister turned 29 in March, and I turned 31 last month. My parents said she'll be upset if I get married a month after her 30th birthday, so I went out today and bought a ring. It was never about money because I can afford to buy one. I just thought that it would be special to give my girlfriend a family ring. I'm still proposing on Saturday despite my parents forbidding me to do it. I'm just pissed off that they asked me to hold off until my sister is married when she isn't even in a relationship. Pisses me off, but I don't want anything to spoil my girlfriend's birthday. In the comments, Imagine Snapdragon says, for her 30th birthday, your parents can gift her therapy. I turned 30 back in August, never married. You know what happened? Nothing. The world doesn't end when you're still single at a certain age. That's so weird. It's not like you're 17. A month after she turns 30? Does she own every month? Just wait until you start having kids or something before her. I get being sensitive to her feelings, but this is way over the top. I mean, they could let her pick a ring first and set it aside for the future. It just sucks that they're going to be more worried about her feelings than excited for you. Then they'll wonder why you'll always spend holidays at the in-laws. Not every month, just the 6 months preceding her birthday. Oh, and also the 6 months post-birthday, but that's it. And now, on to the update. I proposed on Saturday like I originally planned to. I proposed with a ring that I bought after my parents denied me one of my grandmother's rings. As I said in my original post, it wasn't about money. I could afford to buy a ring. It was about being sentimental because my grandmother always told me that I could have one of her rings. I didn't do anything elaborate or public. I proposed over breakfast, and she said yes. She called it the best birthday gift she's ever gotten. She had the same idea as me and had suggested that we get married on April 29, our 3rd anniversary, before I even brought it up. So that's what we're doing. We both agreed that we don't want anything huge or expensive, so we're going to keep it small. It's 1:15 p.m. now, about 28 hours since I proposed. When we announced the news, my sister was upset, just like I knew she would be, and my parents were mad that I didn't listen to them. I'm 31, and I don't rely on my parents for money. I told my parents and sister that if they're unhappy, they can skip the wedding. It would suck if I didn't have any family there, but I also don't want them to spoil this. I wasn't going to tell my fiancé what went down, but I did once my sister started melting down so she wouldn't be blindsided by any of it. She assured me that she loves the ring and thinks that my family is wrong. Her family had the exact opposite reaction of mine, and they are all happy for us. So that's it. All is well, my fiancé is currently at work, and it may sound stupid, but I miss her. She told me her co-workers are happy for her, and I know that mine will be too when I go in later today. Edits, I also appreciate all the supportive comments on my last post, so thanks for those. In the comments, Fun Statistician 550 says, where is it written that if your sister is not happy, then nobody else can be either? Your parents spoiled the shit out of her. She'll never find happiness with that entitled attitude. Good on you for your response. Congratulations on the engagement and upcoming marriage. Your family can go suck it since you're creating a family of your own. Now we know one of the reasons as to why she's still single. Parents raised her to be entitled and selfish. For her to not even be happy for someone that she's supposed to love says a lot about her. Good luck with the wedding, OP, and keep those people on minimal contact. I wouldn't put it past them to try and mess with the wedding out of envy. An invitation to the wedding should only follow apologies and groveling. Congratulations on the engagement. Yup, None of them should get any more details. No information about the place, the reception, the honeymoon, most certainly not invites, nothing until every last one of them grows up and shows that they are going to be grown-ups to you and your fiancé. OP on what happens to the ring if he got married first before his sister does. She would get to keep the rings. OP says, no, because my parents said that if my sister was married, they would have let me pick one of the rings like my grandmother said that I could. My parents said that if my sister was married, they would have honored my grandmother's wishes. Out of all her jewelry, I would have only gotten one ring and the rest would go to my sister. There are multiple boxes full of jewelry and multiple rings. She really liked jewelry. I didn't expect my parents not to honor her wishes, and especially over something that I have no control over. And now, onto the final update. My original post in the first update can be found in my comment history, but the gist of it is, my grandmother loved jewelry and always said that I could have one of her rings for my future wife. When she passed away, she put in her will that I was to be allowed to pick one out if I was getting engaged. The other hundreds of pieces of jewelry got left to my mum to be eventually passed on to my sister. The rings I was supposed to pick from were not her engagement rings or any of the most expensive jewelry she had. In October of 2022, I asked my mum for a ring because I was going to propose to my then-girlfriend of 2.5 years, but my mum said that I could not have one, and my dad backed her up. It was because my sister would be upset that I was getting married first. My parents forbid me from proposing. I was 31 years old when this happened, and I live in a different province, so they had no grounds to forbid me from anything. My grandparents on both sides came to Canada from Scotland. There is nothing in either culture that says that I'm supposed to wait until his younger sister gets married first. I bought a ring and proposed to my wife on her birthday. My parents were angry that I didn't listen to them. My sister had an absolute meltdown when she found out about the engagement, and I had not told her in advance that I was going to propose because I knew that she would react badly, even though she was 29 years old at the time. My wife and I got married 6 months after I proposed, in April of 2023. It did suck not having any of my own family at my wedding, but I focused on my wife instead. Here's my updates. I went 18 months without speaking to my family, from a couple of weeks after I proposed until earlier this month. I guess my mum had a health scare, and even though she's fine, it got her and my dad worried enough to get back in touch a couple of weeks ago. My wife told me that she would support me in whatever I decided. I told my parents that we can't go back to the way things were before, and I will not let them talk to my wife right now after the way that they acted. My wife and I don't want kids, but if we did, I would keep my parents away from them too. They were surprised that I got married without telling them. I said I'm an adult who doesn't need their permission. We're going to start with occasional emails for now, and then go from there. My parents said sister is still upset that I'm married and she's not. She has never apologized for the way that she carried on or the way that she spoke about my wife. I have no plans to resume contact with her, and I told my parents not to bring it up. Again, thanks to those who left supportive comments in both of my posts. I forgot that I'd posted here until after my wife said something that reminded me of it, and I had some messages asking for an update. In the comments, Intelligent Ad says, "Your sister's a nut job. Even if you lived in a culture where the older gets married before the younger, you are older than your sister, so that really wouldn't matter. I think your parents have enabled your sister's behavior, which is allowing her to continue acting this way, and possibly getting worse. She is miserable and wants everyone else to be too, and your parents should have put their foot down years ago. Maybe now, seeing that you're not going to stop living your life because they ask you, they will change. You getting married has nothing to do with your sister. She being single has nothing to do with you. Just go live your life and be happy. That's the best revenge anyway. There is definitely a reason she's still single and likely to be forever alone. Right? Her reaction to Big Brother getting engaged and married first, logically speaking, wouldn't one expect that? Is a clear indication that she is a raging harpy that is difficult to be around. Quotes, "They were surprised that I got married without telling them. I said I'm an adult who doesn't need their permission. Their feelings are hurt because of their reaction. If you had informed them of a wedding, they would have thrown a fit. Don't let them rewrite history that they would have supported you if you'd have given them the chance. They may be sorry, but part of being remorseful is knowing what they did wrong. Congrats on your marriage." Sheesh, I can see why his sister is still unmarried. No one wants to marry a nutjob like the sister. So everybody just caters to the spoiled sister? The parents have created their own monster. Guys can sense that desperate to be married vibe a mile away, and it's not attractive. I don't even like that quality in friendships. It's creepy. I don't want to be close to someone whose happiness hinges on another person's behavior, particularly when they haven't even met that person yet. I had a friend like this once. She lost all of her friends besides me and one other person due to a health incident that was admittedly hard to deal with for both her and me. But once she got better, she was lonely as she was a very social person before, and her old friend groups had cut contact. Instead of trying to establish new friendships like I kept suggesting, she went on several Tinder dates a week, desperate to finally find a permanent partner. None of the dates ever worked out well enough to even warrant a second date. She put so much pressure on it, expecting to know by the first date if she wanted to marry the guy, and expecting them to be totally blown away by her average beauty, and impressed by her multiple university degrees, so they would be head over heels after about an hour or so. They weren't, obviously. Most guys are looking for peace in a relationship. The level of anxiety these kinds of girls bring is suffocating. Unless a dude is really hard up for a piece, there won't be a second date. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.